The Poor Widow Me, I know, everyone says it's a terrific title. It all started with a Carol Burnett episode. One of her things she had as the stomach turns. And I was a kid, I was going to school, and it was an episode where she was in the Wild West. And she's looking into the camera. She said, well, everyone except for me is a widow. Well, there's the widow Johnson. There's the widow O'Nally. And then you hear a big bang. The camera goes to where she's looking, and you see there's a gunfight, and her husband falls down dead. And then she looks back into the camera, and then she says, and there's widow me. But my friend, Michelle, who's a ventriloquist, she's a comedian, she said, throw a poor in front of it because it doesn't translate unless you have poor widow me. And, you know, it's interesting, Carly, at first, it felt kind of disrespectful, but everybody loved the title, that I said, oh, okay, I guess it's okay. But that's how I got the title. It's kind of ironic to me that the book that I finally did write is about this subject. It's mind-boggling to me in that way. But my friend said, write it down. Just write it all down because you want to remember how you're feeling. So I did it in a blog. And then the blog became a book. So this way, they're all condensed under one book. I love speaking. I see that I can be effective. I see that people leave workshops or a speech that I give, they're happier. They're not going to be feeling the way they feel now always. I've had a lot of losses in my life, not just my husband. And someone was talking about someone who had passed away. She said, well, I don't have to tell you. Like, you're the expert on death and grieving. And that's what's great about doing these seminars, because they look to you and they know that you've been through it. My story, like you said, might be different than others, and yet I get it. I absolutely get it. On the other hand, a lot of widows, I know that a lot of them say, nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. And I always say to them, of course they don't get it. How could they possibly get it? They haven't experienced it. I think it's a tough spot to be in when you're the only widow on the block, so to speak. So that's why these groups are so helpful. You don't know who you're changing. They don't always verbalize, but sometimes you know they do. And you say, I really needed to laugh. I'm so glad I took your workshop. And I go, wow, look at that. I am effective. It's amazing. I realize that the poor in front of the widow me works because it's not that. It's not poor widow me. It's to be the opposite of that. If you open up the newspaper, tragedy upon tragedy. I used to turn on the TV and hope for a tsunami because I go, well, at least I got a village.